Hey guys, 𝗗𝗃𝗃 here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys a little bit of a smaller concept that I've worked on. So I actually thought of this by accident while I was working on another project that didn't really work out the way that I wanted it to. But I found this and I thought it would be kind of fun to make, so I did it, and it's way better than I thought it would be. So let's get into it. So today I've got a mechanic that allows you to pick up any entity in the game at any distance that you want. So let me just show you what I mean by that. So you type in /trigger pickup entities, and this is a data pack. So the data pack is in the description below if you want to download it for yourself, and to get the item that you need, just do that trigger. So how it works is pretty simple. You go up to any entity and you just simply right click, and there you go. You can do whatever you want with them. Now, this isn't just teleporting in front of me, it's actually using motion. So if I go up to like this tree here, it's not going to clip through the tree or anything. Well, it does, but that's because of Minecraft. But it's not gonna teleport through it or anything like that. And to put them down, just right click again. And well, that might happen. Depending on how high you lift up the entity, it's gonna take a little bit more damage when you put it back down, even if it's close to the ground like this. Now this also works really far away from an entity, so if I'm all the way over here, I can still pick up this horse and do whatever I want with it. Another really cool feature with this is not only can you pick them up, but if you do this right, you can toss them around a little bit. Depending on how fast you actually move it, it'll go even further, but oh no. It also depends on how far away it is from you when you throw it, but yeah, it'll keep its motion when you're throwing it. Now, the distance that you're holding it away from you is dependent on where the entity is when you first pick it up. So if it's this far away from me, no matter where I go, the horse is always going to be this far away from me. Now, just to demonstrate that this works on pretty much every entity, this chicken just laid an egg, so you can actually use this on items too, and you can still throw it. Oh, just like that. It also works on boats, just a little bit slower because of, I don't know, there's some scaling with boats motion tag or whatever, but it still works. The other cool thing is, if I can get this right, if you shoot at an arrow and quickly switch, you can grab it. Now you'll see it's really glitchy. There's something about arrows. Something about arrows is really weird with the motion tag, but there's nothing I can do about it. It still sort of works, but if you get it right and get a little bit lucky, you can kind of throw it like that. So it does kind of work. I mean, if you wanted to use it specifically for arrows, then there would be a way to figure that out. But now, sadly, this doesn't work in multiplayer. Well, it sort of does, but not quite the way you'd think. Just like in the last video, I've programmed it in such a way that it doesn't work if you have more than one activated at the same time. I know there's ways that I could do it that would make it work better, but that's just not how I did it. You can technically use it a little bit in multiplayer, except you won't be able to pick up people with it because you can't apply motion data to a player itself. It's only mobs and stuff like that, anything that's an entity, but it doesn't work on players for some reason, and I really wish it did. Okay, now I'm gonna try and briefly explain what it is that I did here. Now this is a little bit simpler than some of the other stuff I've worked on, but it still is a little bit complicated and there's a lot of things going on at once, so I'll try my best to explain that. Ooh, nice shot. So first thing I'm doing is detecting when you right click on the carrot on a stick. After that, it does a little ray cast, just like I have in my last few projects. It does a ray cast from me all the way to wherever I'm facing. And if it detects an entity there, it's gonna set that one to be the one that I'm picking up. Once it's determined which one I'm selecting, what it's doing is calculating how far the distance is between me and the entity that I picked up. At that point, it uses a teleport command with an armor stand at that same distance in front of me to show where the entity needs to be moved to. But it's not just teleporting this entity to that spot. It's actually applying its motion. So this is the best way I can kind of explain what's happening here. So imagine I'm over here and I've picked up this cow, and then I move my cursor over to here. So this is where the armor stand that's in front of me is. So what it does is 20 times a second, it'll get the coordinates of this armor stand, and it'll get the coordinates of this cow. Then it does a little bit of math, little subtraction. It then takes the difference between those values and applies that to the cow's motion. So it's kind of hard to imagine, but basically what it's doing is it's making the cow move in that It's making the cow move in that direction towards the armor stand. And it'll move faster depending on how far away the armor stand is from it. So it's a little bit more complex than just having a teleport in front of me, but it's what allows me to do things like this. If I was just using teleports to put it in front of me, the cow would be clipping through this tree right now wherever I look. And it also wouldn't work by doing that, by trying to throw it. Wherever I let go, it would just drop. So it needs to have the motion to do that. So it's a little bit harder than just teleporting it, but I think it makes the product look a lot better. I'm sure there's a bunch of things you can do with these mechanics. Maybe make some kind of mini game where you're trying to throw stuff into something. I don't know. There's a lot of applications, but I think it's really cool, even just to play around with on its own without a full mini game with it. Apparently it's really hard too. Now I do want to quickly show where my inspiration for this came from. I was working on another project that didn't really work out the way I wanted to, so I didn't feel like making a full video on it, but I thought I might throw it in here. It's incomplete. But what I've done is I've made a set of commands that will let you pick up any block in the game, just like this. So it's sort of similar to the entities. I didn't set it up to be the same as the other one so that it would be the same distance away that you are when you click on it. I could have done that, but right now it's just a small proof of concept. But I figured out the entity thing from that, and I thought it would be really fun to make a video on that. The reason I didn't complete this version of it is because there's stuff like this. There's a few little bugs that make it not work great, and also there's some issue where any blocks like this, these falling blocks, they can't really have motion applied to them. They kind of just, well, let me show you. I made this second device which picks it up, and instead of just dropping it, it's supposed to launch it directly in the direction that you're facing. But what it ends up doing is something like this. Oh. Like that. Oh. I was just unlucky that it happened to work that one time. But it's really, really buggy, and it doesn't usually work the way you want it to, like that. It just kind of glitches out. Sometimes it'll do that, but it's way too inconsistent to actually do anything good with. I don't remember this always being the case in Minecraft. I feel like it might just be an issue with the new updates, and maybe they didn't fix it. But I really hope they do patch that at one point, because I would like to make some kind of mini game where you can pick up blocks on your side and maybe just toss them over to some target or something like that. I think it'd be really interesting. I know there's a lot of stuff I could do with this, but I haven't really found the right way to do it yet. Anyways, that's about all I got for you guys right now. I know this is a bit of a shorter one. Well, maybe not a shorter video, but it is a smaller concept, and I do think it's really fun. Wow, he's falling really slow. I'm sure that you guys could figure out some other fun stuff to do with it. Maybe throw the chicken. Either way, it is pretty fun to just put it in the world and just start chucking stuff around. It might be a little inhumane though. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. The data pack's in the description below, and if you want to know how to do that, all you have to do is open your world save file that you want to put it into and drag the folder into the data packs folder in your world file. Then just type in trigger pickup entities and it'll give you this, and you can just do whatever you want with it. Just be careful if you're doing it in multiplayer. I should also point out that once you get really far away from these guys, it does sort of glitch out a little bit like that. I think it's something to do with the way that I did the math. It might be too big of a number between these two entities that it won't be able to detect it. But for the most part, it does work. It is just a concept after all. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to join my Discord in the description if you want to talk about this, or maybe ask me about how you could possibly implement this in other ways in a mini game or something like that. I'm always there to help. And if you want to support me, you can go to my Patreon, which is also in the description. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya!